Since its inception, the Protein Research Foundation has been a future-focused organization. The PRF strives to make a significant contribution by promoting the local production of protein on a sustainable basis to replace imported protein in order to satisfy the growing demand for protein for animal nutrition purposes. This is expected to lead to an increase in the standard of living of all people in the Republic of South Africa. The PRF contributes to the realization of its vision for the provision and utilization of protein by means of the proactive stimulation and funding of applicable purposeful research. Emphasis is placed on the promotion and implementation of research results through technology transfer. The origins of the foundation can be traced back to 1973. Certain objectives of the Protein Research Foundation and its predecessors, including funding of research to achieve specific objectives, date back to 1973. Before 1990, certain other objectives had to be achieved using specific funds, but those were terminated in 1989 to make way for a pure research function and related matters. Those were determined formally in 1990 with the establishment of a research trust now known as the Protein Research Foundation. A possible shortage of protein for animal nutrition was mooted in the early 1970s. In 1973, government and the relevant industries convened a so-called Protein Study Group. In 1976, the Protein Study Group was transformed into the Protein Advisory Committee, the PAC. The purpose of the PAC was to advise government and industry of the status of protein availability for animal nutrition on an ongoing basis. In 1989, the Protein Advisory Committee was replaced with the Protein Research Advisory Committee that focused on research only. The Protein Research Trust, known today as the Protein Research Foundation, was established in 1990.
Several commodity trusts, for example the Maize Trust and the Oil and Protein Seeds Development Trust, were established in terms of the provisions of the Marketing Act during 1997. In 2002, the PRT board decided to change the name of the Protein Research Trust to the Protein Research Foundation to avoid possible confusion with the newly established commodity trusts.
In 1995, a soybean think tank was held, which was attended by parties representing a wide variety of disciplines. Following this, and in order to make detailed contact with the various industries that the PRF was involved with, the PRF followed a highly successful model of composing working groups, an approach which is still very successful today. The soybean working group centered around interaction of members and sharing of information in order to build the industry. The most important first goal was to have 100,000 hectares established under soybeans by the 1998 planting season at an average yield of 2 tons per hectare. In 1997, a lupin working group was founded after a lupin think tank was organized at the Elsenburg Agricultural Development Center. During the discussions with Elsenburg, it was agreed that a special canola promotion campaign should be launched during 1997. Hereafter, a canola working group was also established in 1997.
In 1999, an important change in the PRF policy with regards to protein brought the focus that started the success story of soybeans in particular. The PRF decided that a protein product is one with a protein content of 25% or more, and more specifically, has the potential to grow. This implied that future funding would give preferential attention to the 4 crops mentioned, being soybean, lupin, canola and cotton. Eventually, only soybeans and canola proved to be really successful. In 2005, the PRF decided to launch a massive generic marketing program for soybeans. This gave rise to the so-called PRF Soybean Elite Trials, where potential new cultivars with high yielding capacity and other special traits could be tested by the PRF for adaptability under South African conditions. We signed Memoranda of Understanding and material transfer agreements in Brazil with Embrapa and the University of Isosa, INTA of Argentina, as well as the Chinese University of Agriculture in Beijing. More such agreements were added in the recent years.
The PRF has proven that its innovative approach throughout enabled it to keep up with all the latest developments. Within the next 5 to 10 years, there may be many fresh new perspectives in terms of oil and protein seeds in the market, as well as other protein sources. Single-cell protein, algae, and other innovations, for example, may require that new objectives are set by the PRF. The Protein Research Foundation will nonetheless continue to play a leading role in the promotion of protein production.
The PRF's present focus is mostly on canola and soybeans as valuable and growing sources of protein. An aspect that has not been mentioned earlier is the contribution that other sources, such as sunflower oil cake, make towards satisfying the total demand for protein. If calculations are based on the assumption that sunflower oil cake, fish meal, etc. will continue to be produced at current levels, and if the projected production of soybeans and canola is added to this, South Africa will potentially be in a position to produce sufficient protein for animal nutrition by 2020, which should make South Africa self-sufficient in this respect. Looking into the future, an important aspect which must continuously be addressed by the Protein Research Foundation is the release of new cultivars onto the local market. It is necessary to ensure that commodity cultivars with new characteristics such as resistance to herbicides, as well as resistance to nematodes, diseases and insects, are available in South Africa as soon as possible after it has been released elsewhere.
New potential resources are constantly monitored by the PRF as well. They still do an annual audit of the protein situation, continuously revising their targets and adapting to changing circumstances in order to achieve their goals.